Pastor Mrs. BJ Arnett, and of course, this is BYOBB. We are here at the NRB, and always when you come to the NRB, you're going to meet those that have come before you and those that follow you. Well, right now, I'm here with the man, Paul Crouch. I got to tell you, I grew up watching TVN. I'm still watching TVN, and I'm watching all of Christian television do what needs to be done to galvanize people back to the Word of God. It's not about what we want to say. It's about what Dad said. Paul, thank you so much for joining me today.
Bless you. It's an honor to be here, really.
Talk to us about, the things that, as my husband would call it, the elephant in the room. There are times when following the vision and passion of your parents is difficult. You come from a very strong legacy with your parents. Talk to us about growing up in that.
Well, I literally grew up under a switcher. My earliest memories were cameras and dollies and lights, because even before TVN, my dad worked for the Assemblies of God in their film department. So I remember film cameras, but I was 13 when Mom and Dad started TVN. And I just saw, the passion that they had. I think a lot of people don't realize, number one, it takes a passion. Number two, it takes sacrifice.
Sacrifice and passion.
Create anything. And my dad said, the one thing he said to his dying day was, Paul and Jan Crouch were probably the least likely people to be called or to be used to start a Christian network. The least likely. Listen, my folks, when I were little, we didn't have money. We were very middle class. My parents couldn't sing. They couldn't dance. They weren't talented,
right.
In that area. But they were obedient. And when God called them, they simply said yes. And that's what it's all about.
And it is what it's all about. I think what I see, and I think for my husband and I with BYOBB television, we recognize that when God told us to do this it wasn't something we wanted to do, but we knew it was a command of God to do.
When God creates something great or wonderful, it's not man that gets the glory or the credit. It's God.
Right.
My parents couldn't have thought up TVN in a million years.
See,
they didn't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the time.
That's right.
God did, and the obedience, and that's what people need to really understand. He doesn't need your talent. He doesn't need your good looks. He doesn't need anything. He needs you to simply be obedient. And that is the greatest lesson that I've learned. When God opens a door, go through it. Take a chance. Take a risk. And that's what my folks did. And I saw it every day where, we didn't know if we were going to be on the air the next day because of finances.
Right.
God will take you to the edge of the Red Sea. And you're then dependent on Him, because the next day, all of a sudden, the Red Sea would open.
Now,
and it was an amazing time to really observe and really something ingrained in my soul. And my dad's calling as a missions kid, and he grew up in the missions field. My dad, his earliest memories were in Egypt with an orphanage that my grandparents started. But he saw a lost and hurting world.
Yes.
He saw that people we have the answers to the problems of society. We have the answers. How do we get that message? How do we get the good news of Jesus Christ? His parents and his generation before him had to go on ships to Egypt. They had to walk to Africa. They had to go to South America. He said, wait a minute. I think God created technology for a reason.
That's it.
Hello. Just wanted to come and say thank you. For those of you who have decided to partner with us, you've actually gone to the site and donated. Thank you so much for what you do. Also, I want to promise you that you will not be receiving any crazy letters in the mail asking you for more money. Thank you so much for being a part of BYOBB. You are helping to make it happen, and we are grateful. Thank you so much. God bless.
One of the things that, and I have to address this because I've seen your family do things that people just don't do in the body of Christ. And that is to have a united front of people of all colors.
Correct. Correct.
There is still a great divide in the church
Amen.
that hurts my heart.
Listen, I really did grow up colorblind. You know, to me, denominations in the church were nothing more than two men disagreeing somewhere in history.
Yeah.
And that's what denominations were. My dad, even though he grew up in the Assemblies of God, you know, really at the end of his life realized, you know, these denominational barriers are ridiculous. These racial barriers are ridiculous. He traveled the world. I traveled one time on a trip with my father. It was a 30-day trip. We headed east, and we kept going east till we came around the world.
Wow.
And came back to where we started. So I know for a fact the earth is round because I've experienced
Because
it.
you were there.
It's not flat. I mean, we literally went to India. We went to Africa. We went to China. We went to Pakistan. And I saw every color, every race on the planet in a 30-day period thing. Man is fallible.
Yes.
Every time.
Yeah.
There is no, I've worked with Billy Graham, I've worked with Oral Roberts, I've worked with Robert Schuller, I worked with my parents.
My goodness.
They are all flawed and fallible. But Christ is not. We have got to, as the church, not look at man, not glorify man, not put them on a pedestal. We've got to raise Christ up.
That's right.
And Him alone is He perfect.
Yes.
And that's really what we've got to do in the media. And, you know, so many people look at what the world does and they want to be a Christian version of Shakira. They want to be a Christian, you know, this guy or that guy or this rapper. The world has their thing, and I'm not putting all of that down. But we have got to lift up Christ because He is the answer. You know, you go to the Middle East, these unbelievably hurt divides between the Palestinians and the Jews, the Muslims and the Christians. And not only are we dealing with, you know, skin color, but now ideologies of, you know, of do you believe, what God do you believe in? And I'm going to kill you because you don't believe in my God, or you don't believe the way I do. I have to throw it all to the side and say, listen, we've got to lift up Christ alone and focus on Him.
Whoever said Christian television is dull is wrong. TBN is #1 and the most watched Christian network in the world, delivering the best in non-stop family entertainment with blockbuster movies, in-depth discussions, chart-topping music, and groundbreaking programs. TBN doesn't just give food for thought, but it provides the life-transforming message of Jesus Christ. TBN is all the way inspirational, informational, motivational, and just plain exceptional television. Special guests, unmatched teaching with international appeal. When it comes to watching television with a punch, TBN is your wake-up call.
Hello. Just wanted to come and say thank you. For those of you who have decided to partner with us, you've actually gone to the site and donated. Thank you so much for what you do. Also, I want to promise you that you will not be receiving any crazy letters in the mail asking you for more money. Thank you so much for being a part of BYOBB. You are helping to make it happen, and we are grateful. Thank you so much. God bless.
When you take a look at, and you know, we both have children, when you take a look at the lineage of what you will leave behind, what do you strive for your children? What are you saying to yourself, I want them to get this?
One would be certainly the work ethic. My parents truly worked daybreak to sunset every day. I saw my parents literally crying almost great tears of blood. There were times that were so stressful and so hard and so hurtful when people would hurt you or leave you or condemn you for something you didn't do. I mean, the hurt. And my dad said by the end of his life, he said, listen, I've got skin as thick as a rhinoceros. So you got to have a thick skin if you're going to accomplish anything.
I thank you so much. I've watched you. I've admired your quiet strength.
Thank you.
And God bless you in what you're doing and uplifting the Word Network.
Amen.
You know, God gave you, raised you up with TBN, and now you're helping other ministries. Now, see, that's what it looks like. God gave you, raised you up with TBN, and now you're helping other ministries. Now, see, that's what it looks like. Because some folk will say, wait a minute, you're TBN, you come from the legacy. How can you help the Word Network? Well, that would be foolishness and not of Christ.
Well, no, and I've talked to my parents about this, even with, Daystar and other Christian networks. Dad said, listen, we're all fighting the same devil.
That's it.
And if you want to go with the Marines, if you want to be in the Air Force, if you want to be in the Army, it doesn't matter. We've got to unify. And Christians, if we will unify and stick together, we can change and affect people's lives, and we can rock this world. And that's why it doesn't matter what network. I love LaCie with the Summeralls. I love everybody because they are lifting up Jesus Christ, and that's really what it's all about.
And thank you all for joining us today. If you don't know, I can't imagine who don't know. This is Paul Crouch Jr. I don't know where you were if you don't know the face. But if you don't know, that's who he is.
They might recognize me now. I've got a little kind of a...
I know, with the little
beard thing
little happening.
Yeah, a little bit grayer than I had hoped. But
but see, we're going to call that Suave and Debona, the south side of Georgia.
I love it.
God bless you, brother. Thank you so much. God bless you all for joining us. This is BYOBB Television. You know what it's like. We're out here doing what God has commanded us to do. It's not a choice. It's a command. And we go out to do His will. Have a great day. God bless you.
Things will tell you that history is on the side of the bold.
Amen.
History is on the side of the bold. Right now, in the atmosphere in which we are in as a nation and as Christians, for the first time, Christians are now the minority in America. And so we as Christians have to come together and understand, if we don't allow the voice of God to come through us as never before, we as a nation will lose our voice as a whole. Nobody can do this but a Christian. Hello. Just wanted to come and say thank you. For those of you who have decided to partner with us, you've actually gone to the site and donated. Thank you so much for what you do. Also, I want to promise you that you will not be receiving any crazy letters in the mail asking you for more money. Thank you so much for being a part of BYOBB. You are helping to make it happen, and we are grateful. Thank you so much. God bless.
BYOBB. We highlight those who highlight the Christ.
It's your girl Warrior, and you are watching the BYOBB Blast. Now, I have the honor, the privilege right now of interviewing my boy, Mike Sykes, all right? I'm from NY, right? From bedside, do or alive. I sanctified, all right? I'm saved, all right? Not no do or die, do or alive, all right? And my boy's from MD, from Maryland, and I love this man, so I'm very, very excited about this interview. Now, Mike, for those who don't know you, I know you know what I'm saying. I want you to talk about this whole thing about you being shy. I was reading his bio, and he was talking about how he was shy. I'm like, I went Little John, like, what? You know what I'm saying? Shy. Come on now. You shy? Talk to me about this.
Well, I wasn't shy in a sense. I mean, I always was a talker. I always would talk to people, different things like that. But it was getting up on stage and doing my music. I had a fear of what they don't like. All of my cousins, my brothers, everybody, man, were into music. Like, we used to have big ciphers. Like, I was like 10, 11 years old. We used to sit in the room and rap all night long.
Yeah.
And they were all do their right, and when they were all doing their thing, I would stand outside the circle, like, and try to have my own little rap going on while they were doing their thing. Because I was too shy, you know what I mean? But yeah, I wasn't shy to, scared to talk, but I was at one point in time, I was scared to get in front of people.
Yeah. Now, when did you start? You know what I'm saying? When did you actually start, stepping out there and going for it? Like, how young were you?
I actually started doing it when I was about 16. Me and my friends, we had a little rap group. We called ourselves trying to be, little quote-unquote gangsters at the time. And I got up and they were like, man, let's go to the studio. And I went to the studio, and one of the guys who were in the studio, he was like, man, you should get in there and do something. So I went in the booth, man, wrote a rap, and then it was just on from there. But I had been rapping and writing rap way before then. But that's when I really stepped into it and actually started trying to pursue it as a career and actually doing it.
Yeah. Now, I'm glad you brought that up as far as stepping out and doing it. You write a lot about what you've gone through, you know what I'm saying, about your personal experiences. And I know that you're close to your grandmother. Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
Wow. Yes, my dad's mother, we were very close. She was bedbound. And she couldn't move or walk or anything. So when I was young, I used to love her. So, I used to take care of her, feed her. She couldn't, she had to use the bathroom and different things, wash her up and different things like that. But, yeah, she was my heart, man. I mean, everything that I tried to do positive in my life before she passed, it was because of her.
I remember I remember you talking about that before now, because the shift happened when I know she had passed on. You know what I'm saying? Because then you got to say before she passed.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you talk about that? Like, because I know that a lot of people go through that. You know what I'm saying? They get born again, they get on fire, and everything's like, going and moving. You know what I'm saying? God is awesome, life is awesome. And then life happens. You know what I'm saying? Can you please talk about that now?
Okay, when I was 15, I was out with my friend, and he told me about, Jesus and everything, and I ended up getting saved. Well, my grandmother was my biggest supporter. She was actually the one that would wake me up every Sunday morning so I could get up and go to church.
Wow.
And she was my heart, and so I started doing good in school. I was an athlete, I like to play sports and things like that. So I was like, Grandma, we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna get out of the hood, and we're gonna do all these things. And she was my supporter. And I told God, I said, God, just let me be one of the first grandchild of my grandmother's to go to college and to do something with myself. And he was like, if you do this thing, but God never made me a promise, but other men made me promises, and I listened to them. And well, anyway, my grandmother, she passed, and I was angry at God. And my first thought was, God, why did you do this?
Right.
You know what I wanted to do. You know what my thought was. You know what I said to you. You know what I mean? What I wanted to do again, and it just kept going over in my mind, and I just got bitter. I said, because you took my grandmother, I will never, ever, ever, ever serve you again.
Yeah.
And I was so furious at God, but He still was loving me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it at the time.
Yeah.
But He was still doing me good, even though I was just like, you couldn't even talk to me about God. If you talked to me about God, that was a fight. Like I did not want to hear it. You know what I mean? I opened myself up to all type of, now that I know, spiritual problems, man, that I didn't even know I was walking into. You know, but that right there, that was the impact of my life, and it shifted everything.
Yeah.
When I got that bitterness in my heart, it's like I didn't care about nothing, nobody. My conscience, everything had just went away. You know, I still remember. Yeah, I still remember a pastor. He tried to pray for me, and me and him were wrestling in his living room floor. Yeah, like he was like, let me pray for you, and I was like, no. And next thing you know, we rolling around in the living room floor. His wife was like trying to break us up, and they finally get me down, and he prayed for me, but I got up and ran out his house.
I can't even see that.
Yeah, so I mean, it was crazy. Man.
Yeah, see, now I'm glad you brought that up. So I want to know, because you said you didn't even realize that God was like, I got you, son. I'm still with you. I'm still, and you're fine on the floor with a pastor. You know what I'm saying? Now I want you to talk about how you went from I'm fighting a pastor on the ground, you know what I'm saying, to being in the blast seat right now, you know what I'm saying, to that transition, that point, because I know that you were also about to serve some major time.
Yeah.
You had, this man was facing 60 years. Y'all heard me right. 60 years, you know what I'm saying? So something shifted, thank God, you know what I'm saying? And I want you to talk about that, because that's a straight glorious. To go from fighting on the floor to pastor, to facing 60 years, to being where you are now, you know what I'm saying? Please, share it, bro.
I would say the grace of God.
Yeah.
I went from that, and that same pastor, he told me before I came to Atlanta, he said, if you go to Atlanta, you're gonna die. The same as that pastor, he told me that. And at the time, I didn't understand what he was saying, but he was meaning it spiritually.
Yeah.
And it was like some of the darkest moments I've had was when I moved to Atlanta. But anyway, to make a long story short, I was getting caught up in all these different things, and I ended up getting locked up. And me and my friends, did the wrong thing, dead to the wrong. and I was facing 60 years. And by the grace of God, that's all I can say, man.
Yeah.
God's grace, He decided to shift it and to give me another chance. I was facing 60 years, and I still remember I was sitting in my cell by myself. They had moved everybody out of my cell. Like, nobody was in there with me. I was in there by myself. And I still remember the night that God, he spoke to me, and it just hit me. It just hit me hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all I could do was just say, yes, Lord. You know what I mean? And he just told me, give me your life.
Yeah.
And man, after all of this stuff happened, I came to God. He told me that. Like, not even a week later, they took me back to court. After they had said they were going to give me 60 years, they took me back to court, and then they came and said, you know what, we'll give you a 10-year sentence.
Wow.
And then
60 to 10.
60 to 10. And then right after that, they said, well, we'll give you a 10-year sentence, and you only have to serve 4.
Wow.
So, I mean, God just did everything, like, not even in a week's time.
That's supernatural.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And I
This
mean,
is after a week.
this is after a week. I wasn't even in prison for a month. I mean, I wasn't even in the county jail for a month.
Wow.
Before I went to prison and everything. And usually that's unheard of. Guys stay in county jails for like months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, God just moved, and I got out. Asked for a spiritual father, because I didn't, never have one except for one guy. He passed. And
that's awesome. No, I love you. I love talking to you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Talk to me right now as far as, being on the other side, being converted, you know what I'm saying, falling in love with the Lord, making those decisions now. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to me about that. With where you're headed now.
Well, now where I'm headed, I'm more, if I could say, bullseye. If I could say that, I'm more targeted. I'm more aimed than I was before.
That's
I
good.
mean, before I was just moving around real frivolous, like not knowing what's going on. But now I'm like, I know where I'm going, and I'm like, I'm looking at my target, like, ready to get it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And so awesome. Like, now it's like, I see where I'm going, and like Apostle always says, see it and work it backwards.
Yeah. I can see it. I'm glad you bring up your apostle now, our apostle. Phenomenal man of God, you know. Now, with Make Room, you know what I'm saying? That's the album that just dropped, you know what I'm saying? Make Room. Tell me about the wisdom that's been imparted to you from our apostle as far as with this album. It's hot, you know what I'm saying? Like the tracks, everything has been so fire. How are you handling that, you know what I'm saying? Going from how the world did it, now doing it in the kingdom. What's the wisdom that he's giving you in order to make you just, be like an arrow, like the word says, and be shot out?
Yeah. Excellent.
Yes.
That's one of the big things, man, that he's given me and he's told me. It's just, excellence. It's, man, I mean, everything that he's shown me, everything that, he grew me and gave to me. I would go other places and I would see professionals. I would see people who, are major in the industry and they don't even know some of these things. And I'm like, wow, you don't know that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm being taught something that you don't even know. But just him teaching me excellence and moving in a way that is still attractive, but keep it holy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've been a lot of places and I've seen a lot of stuff, and I'm not downing anybody or any artist or anything like that, but a lot of times in the Christian industry, the reason why, a lot of people go to the world and they tend to listen to their music rather than ours is because the lack of excellence.
Right.
We tend to sometimes think that the anointing means, well, we got it all, but in actuality, there takes practice. There takes going through a process and learning and getting more and more better at what you do.
Fresh.
And that's something that I have learned a lot from Apostle. Like, it's not enough that you just get up here and just do something.
Right.
Lifestyle is.
Right. Right.
Yeah, just doing anything, saying something on there and then doing something else. So yeah, that for me is major.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was gonna say to you is that I know that your album just dropped. I just want to know, what is your favorite song? You know what I'm saying? And who you want to give a shout out to? You got to tell me.
Okay, my favorite song
Yes.
on the whole album would have to be Make Room. It's funny because after I heard the song, we put it on the album, and then we were like, you know, coming up with names and different things like that. And Apostle was like, we should make room. And I mean, and that's why I want to give a shout out to Apostle Tommy Arnett. You know, because I mean, that was my favorite song. And at the time, the name that I had was something different. Yeah. But when it came, it was like, it just fit.
DOC is another hot one.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I want you to talk about how DOC came about.
Okay,
that's
DOC.
Yes.
Okay, DOC.
That's my song.
Okay, DOC. DOC. I gotta dedicate this one to you. I was so turned up from being out on street team, BYOBB Big Generation. I was so turned up that I could not sleep, and I just got a pen and a pad, turned the instrumental on, and it was on. I mean, all night I was up writing. I think I stopped probably like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was done already with the song. And then, you know, I came back and did it probably like 2 Sundays after that at doing a service. And man,
it's straight hot.
Just straight
It was
hot. Crazy what the Holy Ghost did. I mean, I can't even take no type of nothing for that. That was all God.
This is Mike Sykes, all right? You're going to see him all over the world, all right? All over the world. But you have the opportunity to see him here on BYOBB Blast, all right? I'm your girl Warrior from Bedside Do Or Live. You know what I'm saying? We'll be back. Love you. Peace.
Now y'all ready to turn back up? Y'all ready to turn back up? Worldwide samples of price at
DOC week, DOC week, DOC week, DOC week. Preach the word to the nations, preach the word to the nations, preach the word to the nations, preach the word to the nations. We attacking the blocks and we are screaming Jesus. Yeah, we marching in line. BYOBB t-shirts, we infesting your hood with the gospel of Jesus. Laying hands on the sick and we casting out demons. They can stone us or beat us, they can whip us, mistreat us, but we still gon' spread the word around the world to the people. Satan hear that we coming, he start trembling like speakers, cause we bringing down his house, but we ain't Queen Latifah. We one heart and one mind, call it living so single. Jesus took on my stripes like he played for the Bengals, but his first name ain't Chad, but he took on my past. Yeah, he wiped it all clean, call it soaking on rap, so we posted on ads. No, we ain't banging flags, yeah, we sent to the abs, to disciple the mass. Tell them what we seen and heard and never add us a track, cause Jesus died to multiply, now who can add up with that? DOC we train to go, DOC we train to go, DOC we train to go, DOC we train to go. Preach the word to the nations, preach the word to the nations.
Let's get on our feet and let's salute our brothers, man.
DOC we train to go, DOC we train to go, DOC we train to go, DOC we train to go. Preach the word to the nations, preach the word to the nations, preach the word to the nations, preach the word to the nations.
Hey, what's up? I'm here watching BYOBB.TV and I'm here to see Mike Sykes. Here watching BYOBB.TV, Mike Sykes.
And I'm here to see Mike Sykes.
Mike Sykes!
Hello. Just wanted to come and say thank you. For those of you who have decided to partner with us, you've actually gone to the site and donated. Thank you so much for what you do. Also, I want to promise you that you will not be receiving any crazy letters in the mail asking you for more money. Thank you so much for being a part of BYOBB. You are helping to make it happen, and we are grateful. Thank you so much. God bless.